One. And today I have the absolute pleasure to be joined by AD the RPA guy. If you're wondering what RPA means, we're going to get into all of that, all the way from Dallas, Texas. Listen, AD, thank you for jumping onto the Business and Wealth Show.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a fun one. You're probably going to want to do a part two. That's what I tell
Well,
everybody.
I'm looking forward to it. Just in talking to you, it's just like, okay, this can go anywhere. But I want to say, people, stay tuned. Stay tuned if you want to create a lifestyle on your terms. If you want to understand when it comes to business, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to careers, you want to understand masculine energy, feminine energy, how that all interrelates, and how you can utilize that to your advantage. Stay tuned. What else should they stay tuned for, AD?
Man, my four pillars are self-love, self-respect, self-acceptance, and gratitude. I really think that every person needs that, especially men, in order to really live their best life and live an outstanding life. And an outstanding life, to me, means a lifestyle where someone sees you or you see someone and you're like, wow, bro, I didn't even know that was fucking possible. I want that same thing. So those are the core four to, make that happen.
All right, all right. So let's get into this then. Very good. I'm excited to be speaking with you here. Usually we don't have any swearing, so just cussing and swearing. So just watch out for that. It's just
Understood.
one of those things we have on the show. So, but I'm excited to speak with you. So listen, AD, tell us about your entrepreneurial background. What were you doing before you started doing what you're
Mhm.
doing now, or what was the journey like?
Absolutely. So I initially got my degree in computer science from the University of North Texas, and I got into tech as a software developer. I'm still a software developer to this day.
Right.
Um, I'm just a more specialized type of software developer, which is called RPA. We can get into that in a moment. But essentially, general software development was relatively difficult, and I really didn't like the corporate atmosphere. I didn't like how, I'm a very authentic and very transparent person, and I think that corporate culture, once you get to a certain level, it's inauthentic. They expect that you do what's best for the company in spite of what's best for you and what's best for your family, which
Right.
just makes no sense. Like that doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. And so once I got into RPA, which is a very simplified version of development, right? I call it drag. It's like coding, but it's drag and drop, right? So
Okay.
coding, all it is giving instructions to a computer step by step. Computers are not smart, they're dumb. They just are calculators that do math really, really quickly. That's all they are, right?
Mm.
And so coding is like, a six-figure skill set.
Yeah.
And RPA, a lot of people find coding intimidating, but RPA is more like drag and drop coding. Okay. So what I tell people is, let's just say, or the analogy I like to use is, let's say you build homes and I build homes,
Uh-huh.
right? Let's say you build homes using brick and mortar, right? Wood, stone, all those kind of things. Let's say I don't know how to do that, but I know how to 3D print a home. I can 3D print one wall, press a button, 3D print another wall, press the button
Uh-huh.
again, 3D print another wall, and I can build homes quicker than what you
Right.
can. I can even master the art of building homes quicker than you can, simply because my process is simpler, right? So that's kind of what RPA is in terms
Right.
of automation and building things. And when I got started in this industry, I was like, there's no way it's this simple. There's no way like a developer is getting paid this and an RPA developer who's relatively new and unknown. And so because there's a lot of demand for it and no one knows what it is, right?
Okay.
The pay is even higher. And I was like, there's no way that this is easier
Wow.
and the pay is higher. There's absolutely
Um,
no way, right? And so then I started working multiple contracts, and now my income goes from 85,000. I actually started making six figures during the pandemic for the first time,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Then I got to 200,000 a year, $500,000 a year, and I was like, this is too simple. There's no way. And I truly, truly, truly do believe that I can teach anybody else how to do this, assuming they're not 70 and they don't have like arthritis in their knuckles
Right.
and they're not afraid of
Right.
computers and things like that. Aside from those three things, I think I can teach anyone how to do it. So my entrepreneur journey started with just that idea, that thought, right?
Okay.
Um, Side note, I do also have a background in network marketing. So
Okay.
I did that for like 6 or 7 years. I wasn't super successful, but I did learn a lot. I did learn a
Well,
lot.
let
And I
me
did.
let me say this. So you can one of your skill sets is taking anyone, showing them this system you have so that
Hmm.
they can grow their own personal income as well
Hmm.
as live life on their terms, work anywhere in the world, do whatever
Yep.
they need to do. Right. Tell us more about that, because I'm just saying that in case someone's sitting there thinking, wow, okay, he didn't like the corporate environment. He took things into his own hands. He created this. Well, I'm not enjoying my corporate work. They probably thinking, how can I do this? So
Hmm.
tell us
Yeah.
your process
Yeah.
and mechanism for that.
So how I do that is through my company. It's called RPA University. Okay.
Okay.
So you can think of it like it's not a tech boot camp. So people want to get into technology, right? Like a
Mm,
technology job because tech is the future, AI is the future, all of that good jazz, right? And
yeah.
lots of people today are feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be left behind. So there's four ways that I know today to get into the tech space. There's only four ways. You can
Right.
go the self-study route, right? Meaning you just go on YouTube and things like that, buy courses for 10 bucks, 20 bucks, and try to piece it together and figure it out your that way, right?
Okay.
The upside to doing it that way is that it's relatively inexpensive. Okay. And you can pull it off. The downside is it takes the longest amount of time and most people give up and end up getting frustrated and just giving up. Okay. The next route you could do is the college route. It's 4 years, $40,000, right? The upside to it is you get the credentials and the degrees and all of that. You also have the certainty of like, okay, I learned something while I'm here. I'm going to take it to the marketplace. The downside is you're not guaranteed to get employed. I
Mm,
have several friends who I went to college with who also got degrees in computer science, and they either are unemployed or like they're underemployed, meaning they're
right.
working somewhere that has nothing to do with their degree, or they did get employed, but because they suck at interviewing and they're afraid of the interview process, they stay at a company for 10, 15, 20 years and they wanted to leave at year two, right? And so they're miserable.
Yeah.
Um, the third option is a boot camp, right? And those are going to be quite, they range anywhere from 500 bucks to like $30,000, and you're going to learn a technical skill. And it's not going to take you 4 years, right? The downside there, and this is the feedback I'm getting from my students, is you're still not guaranteed to get employment because there's this they teach you the technical skill set, but
Mm,
then getting a job in the field, that's a totally separate skill set,
yeah.
right? So the fourth option you have is a personal is a mentorship program. And
Okay.
that's what RPA University is. You're not working with some guy who built a company and then hired engineers from all over the place and things like that. You're working with me, someone who's in
Okay.
the field as an RPA developer, someone who's made a $500,000 as a year doing RPA development. You're working with me. I'm giving you projects, right? And the thing that really sets us apart is that we're not done working with you until you are employed. We're holding your hand through the entire process. Okay.
Okay.
And
Now I
there's
get it. I get it.
Yes. So there's four steps
Good.
within RPA University, and we call this the core four. Now, if people want to go and try this four steps on their own, they're more than welcome to. But if they want help, me and my team are here and we can do that for you. So the first step is you must learn a technical skill set. You must have a technical skill set that the market deems valuable. I have a good friend who says that like don't go to tech networking events if you don't have a technical skill set because you have no value to provide to anyone. The most you can do is go and extract value from people, but
Right.
you have nothing to provide in return, so no one has a reason to talk to you, right? So you must learn a technical skill set. There's a myriad of technical skills you can learn. You can learn Java, you can learn to be a scrum master. I recommend learning a hard skill, not a soft skill, because
Okay.
hard skills make you more valuable and you're more likely to not be cut when layoffs happen because you're
Right.
harder to replace, right?
Uh,
So you can learn any technical skill at all. I would just say, okay, what's the learning curve of the skill? Some of these skills take 2 to 3 years to learn well enough to get a job with.
Okay.
RPA can be learned in 2 to 3 months, and within the next 2 to 3 months, because my program is 6 months long, you can learn it in the first 2 to 3 months, and then the next 2 to 3 months, we're just focused on getting you the job.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
So
So the
with that,
learning curve, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I just want to jump in here. So someone with no background in IT or in tech, but
Mm-hmm.
they have the ability to use a mouse, a keyboard, a laptop,
Mm-hmm.
computer, you could show them all of that.
Yes.
Now, where I'm
Yep.
really going with that is that they could then quit their corporate work if they or their job, and then through your mentorship now created or live life on their terms and making
Yep.
money the way you teach them. Fantastic, fantastic. So you're listening to the Business and Wealth Show. And we're talking about money, we're talking about wealth, we're talking about lifestyle. It's very, very important. And this is one aspect of it, the RPA. And AD is the RPA guy. Now, that's the income stream. Now, where I really want to go to, AD, is you talk a lot about masculinity and men and women, and I want to talk about life, relationships, your expertise. If the money is taken care of, however, and you're in a relationship or want to get into a relationship or relationship is not working, or because we live in a world now, and I've seen it, you've seen it, where society, as far as I can see, are making the masculine weaker in one way or
Hmm.
another.
Hmm.
What's your thoughts on all of that?
Okay, I want to give a succinct answer. So I would agree with you. I think that we are in a time right now where femininity is good and
Yeah.
masculinity is bad, right?
Mm.
And I believe that neither are good or bad. They just are what they are.
Yeah.
And I think that, have you ever heard the phrase, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war?
No, I haven't heard this. No, Gardner.
So basically,
Right.
I
Right. Yeah.
think what it means to me is that we have a lot of guys today who are nice guys.
Mm.
Okay. I tell people I'm not nice. I'm a kind person.
Yeah.
I'm not a nice person. Nice is naive. Nice is people pleasing. Nice is I meet you and I want you to like me. So I kind of bend over backwards to get you to like me, whether you're a man or a woman or anything or anyone else.
Yeah.
Right. Kind has two components. Kind is I'm not going to pour salt in the wound. I'm
Mm.
not going to kick you while you're down. I'm not going to add insult to injury. That's the
Hmm.
first part.
Hmm.
The other part of kind is I'm not going to sit by idly as I watch you destroy yourself and
Right.
say nothing.
Right.
Okay, I'm going
Right.
to speak up. Right, that's what kind is. I'm kind. I'm not nice. And
Yeah.
we have a lot of guys who were raised watching Disney movies, right? Thinking that you're supposed to chase a woman and things like that. Side note to all the guys listening, never chase a woman. Never, never, never. Because if she's running, it means she doesn't want to be caught,
That's
right? In the same way that you're not chasing a job, you are adding value to yourself,
mm.
adding value to your resume, right? And then you submit that, you put yourself out there to be chosen, and then you accept who accepts you. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Right.
And so,
Exactly.
and that's where we go back to my four pillars of self love, self respect, self acceptance, and gratitude. Self love is self investment, right? What I tell all men, all my coaching clients, you must put yourself first, right?
Mm.
Have you ever been on an airplane,
Yeah.
Mac? They
Many
say,
times.
hey, when the if the cabin pressure falls and the thing come, you put on yourself first,
The mask of
then
your.
the
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Men are doing it backwards. We're taking care of the wife. We're taking care of the kids. We're taking care of the job. And then when we're burnt out, we're feeling unloved and unappreciated. It's our fault.
Right. Right.
If you had an army and I had an army and we're going to war, you want to beat me, I want to beat you. Wouldn't you agree the fastest strategy to win the army is to take out the leader?
Yeah. That'll be quicker. Yeah.
Okay. So the leader of your household is who?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
So you must prioritize you because if you go down, the ship goes down. If your wife goes down, you pick her back up and say, hey, get it
Mm.
together.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
you must take care of you because you are the leader of the household. You are the leader of your children. You are the leader of whatever organization you're in. Right? And so, so many times what I see men do is they do the opposite. They say, happy wife, happy life, meaning how happy my life is dependent on how happy her emotions are. And
Uh-huh.
there are women, their emotions are up and down and around and all over the place. So it's just not a feasible strategy, right? So self love is self investment, which is putting yourself first. There's no one who I love more than me. That's not a good idea. And I've done it to where I love a woman more than I love me,
Mm.
meaning I've made her more important in my life than I am to myself.
Yeah.
And that's too much pressure to put on a woman. They do not like that. Right.
Yeah.
And I also don't really care what a woman says. I care what they respond to. Okay.
Okay.
And they
Okay.
don't respond well to a man making them the center. Right.
Okay.
Uh, Let me give you another analogy that I give because it's so simple to me,
Yeah.
but
No,
it's so simple that you'll miss it if you don't understand it. Right.
I hear you.
So, so many men. I had a guy who hit me up, right? And he was saying how he and his wife hadn't had sex in 4 years.
Mm.
And usually, not usually, all the time, whenever a wife is not having sex with her husband is because she does not feel safe. Okay.
Right.
That's what
That's
that means.
that's true.
And she's not willing to open her body up to a man who she does not feel safe with. Okay.
Right.
So, how do we go from we're all in love and everything is going completely amazing? We have the honeymoon to now we're not having sex in 4 years. What
Mm.
happened? Let me give you an example. Let's say are you married, Mac?
I'm married 25 years.
I
25
figured.
years.
I already knew. I just wanted to ask. I didn't want to assume. I love you. You're a handsome guy, man. You should be. Congratulations to you. Let's
Cheers.
just say that one day you're standing outside of your home, right?
Mm.
You, your wife. Do you have kids?
Yeah, three.
Okay. How old are they? Or what's
23, 23, 19, 17.
okay. Let's just say your kids are much younger. Let's say they're 2, 3, and 4, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's say you're standing outside of your home one sunny day,
Hmm.
right, on the weekend, and you're barbecuing. The wife is playing in the yard with flowers. The kids are playing too, right?
Right.
And let's just say a midget. I'm going to make this a very extreme example. Let's say a midget walks up and he's like, "Hey, Mac, that's a beautiful house, beautiful family you got there. It's mine now. I want it. Beat it."
Right.
Right? And
Right.
let's say in scenario A, you say, okay, and you cower in fear and you run off.
Uh-huh.
In
Uh-huh.
scenario B, you say, no, get off my lawn before I cause harm to you.
Uh-huh.
Right? In which of those two scenarios do you think your wife feels safe and protected by you?
Yeah, where you're defending your ground
Okay.
and defending. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So in the first scenario, he's essentially bullying you.
Right.
Correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Now let's switch the scenario just a little bit. Instead of a midget coming, let's just say it's you in the house one day and it's your wife and she's upset about something
Right.
and there's something you're doing that she wants you to stop doing and
Hmm.
she comes to you and she's emotional and she basically is pouting because you did something that she didn't want you to do that
Hmm.
you believe was in your best interest because you love you, right, because you're putting yourself first.
You have to, yeah.
And so she's pouting, and or let's just say she gives you an ultimatum. She says, hey, if you don't stop that, I'm going to leave,
Hmm.
right? If you cower to the ultimatum, she's bullying you. Correct?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
She cannot open herself up sexually to a man who she can bully.
Right. Yes.
Does that make sense?
That
This
makes
is
sense from a,
why.
yeah. Yeah.
This is why they feel unsafe and why sex does not happen. So I teach my guys, you must put yourself in a position where, to be quite frank, you are willing, you have to be willing to walk away and willing to let her walk away
Mhm.
because you are whole. You do not need her. You are a whole human being before you met her. You'll be a whole human being when she leaves. And what men don't understand is that, like, when you come from the idea of like, oh, what do I need to do to keep her? Or if I do this, she'll leave. It's like, no, the moment you start worrying about her leaving is
She's,
when you've lost her.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
when you've lost her. And
True.
so, what women are not dumb. They are social creatures. They are social. They know how to. Anytime that you have any social interaction with a woman, it would to you it might just be happening. To her, it's planned and orchestrated.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and
Uh-huh.
so I tell like people, my wife is not dumb. Like she is a high earner in corporate. She does not need me. She stays. And here's the other thing: I've had girlfriends and we've done all kind of things, and she knows, and I don't lie about anything. But she doesn't leave. Why? Because she's not stupid. She knows that someone else is going to take her spot.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't wake up thinking, oh, what if she decides to leave? No, they leave. That's
What I'm hearing you
yeah.
say is you have to have that self-belief and
Yes.
value yourself, your self-worth, that you are good enough. And in this marriage, in this relationship, that you coexist together. You are not, you don't need each other. You want to be with each other. And
Yes.
certainly, yeah, in my experience, being married to Linda for the last 20, what, almost 25 years now, it's very much that, she's a own person, has her own businesses. So do I. We do, and we have businesses together. We work together very, very well. Now, I want to flip back a little bit and then I'll let you continue, which is about when you talk about, you are the man of the house or you're the leader of the house and all of it, you know, biblical teaching for me, that makes sense because that's what I study. Now, for a lot of people listening in, they might think, oh, here we go again, toxic masculinity. And, what do you mean he's a leader? I'm a single mom and my boyfriend comes around, this kind of noise that says, why should the man be the leader?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You want me to speak to that?
Yeah, what'd you say to that? Because
Let
there'll
me
be
tell you,
people
hey,
making
you
noise
ask
because
incredible questions. I like it. I like it. Okay, here's what I believe. There's only one of two ways. Well, no, there's only one way a relationship goes.
mm,
Okay. There's the adorer and then there's the adored. In
uh-huh,
any given relationship, no one ever likes each other in equal amount.
right,
One person always likes the other person more. The other person always likes the other person less, even if it's just only slightly. The
right,
person who's willing to walk away,
yeah,
right, is the person who likes the other person less. Right now,
right,
one position is better than the other. Okay,
mm,
but both need both to exist,
got
if
it.
that makes sense. Right
Yeah,
now, the person who is being pursued, right? So this person gets to be with the one who loves them,
yeah,
whereas this person gets to be with the one that they love.
yes,
That makes sense?
yeah,
Okay. The person who is being pursued does not have any, they're not on an emotional roller coaster. There's very few emotions involved in the relationship at all,
right,
to be totally honest when you're them. But this person who's doing the pursuing,
mm,
they get to feel the ups and downs, the emotional highs and lows
got it.
of a relationship. Women, now, okay, that's the first concept. Do you agree with what you've heard
Yeah, yeah,
so far?
yeah, I hear
Okay,
you. Yeah.
now let me give you another concept, right?
Mm.
Women need chaos, period.
Oh, really?
They simply do. Okay. Let me give you an example. There is this young lady who I know, right, who has this dog. She's a single mother on Facebook. Great friend of mine. And every other image on Facebook is either her dropping her kid off at school or them eating. And then whenever the dog comes up, it's like, um, this dog, he's so annoying. He thinks he's my man. Look, he won't stop cuddling with me.
Oh,
She's
really?
complaining about the dog. That is her way of having chaos.
Yes.
She really loves the dog. You see
Mm.
what I'm saying? But she's complaining about the dog as if she doesn't.
Right.
They need chaos. And the problem with nice guys and
Yeah.
men who try to do the happy wife, happy life stuff
Mm.
is that they are focused on keeping their wife happy. And what that means is she doesn't get to feel the chaos. She doesn't get to feel the what she doesn't get to feel the negativity, right? And when you're trying to make her happy, what you're subconsciously communicating is, hey, I'm uncomfortable when you're uncomfortable, and I can't handle that uncomfort.
Right,
So
right,
here, let me buy you something. Let me feed you. Let me,
right.
right? Whereas when I see my wife and the emotional mood is like, you'll be okay. Leave me
Yeah.
alone. Like, go do that over there.
And
Please
she
leave me.
understands that?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's I don't believe in victim mindset, and we
Yeah.
don't. I don't know. I don't allow the use of the word "can't" in my household, and I
Yeah.
don't allow the use of the words "you make me feel," because
Right.
no one makes you feel anything. You
You feel
choose
it
to feel
yourself.
that way, right? And
Absolutely.
so she's
Absolutely.
not responsible for my feelings, and I'm not responsible for hers. Okay,
Got it.
we are two grown adults now. If she's in a mood and she comes to me and she's like, "Hey, I'm in a funk and I need help getting out of it,"
Uh,
no, I can help you with that, but you must approach me in the right way.
mhm.
Okay. Now, if you're in a funk and you want to stay in a funk and I can tell that's what you want, fine. Just do that over there. Get out of my space. Go away. Okay. Because it's all love, peace, and vibes over here. And Mac, you're an adult, bro. Like it's a full-time job keeping yourself in a high frequency,
True,
let
true,
alone trying to do that for someone
true,
else.
true. Let me
That's
say
too
something here because AD, you are unconventional. You
yeah.
say it as how it is, which I like. For men listening in, where they've fallen into the trap is the trap of happy wife, happy life, which isn't, like, which
Those
isn't
are the most miserable men on the planet.
that. Yeah, they are. But how does someone come out of that? Why aren't more men aware of who they need to be in their family, for their wife, who they need to be as a man, rather than what society, and I'm afraid there's so much programming going on that makes them feel like they've got to be some another way. And
I got you.
I love your explanation about being nice and being one thing is nice, one thing is kind.
Mm-hmm.
And as a man, being married for 25 years, being with my wife now, we've been together 28 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through all of that. So what you're saying makes absolute sense to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
and my wife is good on her own. We're better together. We want to be
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
And she speaks her truth. I speak my truth, and we have an understanding. But
Mhm.
all that must certainly come from a place of awareness. And that's why I'm happy speaking to you right now, because there'll be men sitting there going, huh? What did he just say? And
Mhm.
suddenly they've never really looked at it that way. So why
Mhm.
do you think more men don't think along these lines?
That's a great question. I think it's because men get so men they don't we live in a time where femininity is good, masculinity is bad. Okay. And I had a masculinity coach, and I paid this guy 200 to 300 bucks a month. And his main message was this: I can boil it down to one sentence: do what you want to do
Uh-huh.
because you want to do it. Most men don't know who they are, they
Right.
don't know what they want.
Right.
I have a guy who I talked to the other day. He is recently divorced. He got his divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. His wife was cheating on him, saying she was going to work. She was actually going to visit another man and sleeping with him and things like that, right? And he got married to her 16 years ago. They have kids. And I'm on the phone with him, like, hey, man, because we're talking about getting into tech and changing his career. And I'm like, so what do you want your lifestyle to look like? I can't help you get what you don't know that you want. So
Mm.
what do you want? And he basically came out and said, bro, I've been married. I had a whole life and a plan with her. Right. And now that she's gone, I don't know what my life looks like. Translation: you didn't have a plan for yourself. She told you to go get that job, so you did. She told you to impregnate her and have kids, so you did.
Yeah.
You haven't made a decision for yourself in 16 years, and now that she's out the picture, which she should have been out the picture a long time ago. You
Yeah.
don't know who you are,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
a moment ago, you said something along the lines of, the man who they need to be. Something my dad told me at a young age. The only two things I need to do are stay black and die. Okay. I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to get out of bed in the morning. I don't need to brush my teeth. I don't need to go to work. Sure, if I don't do these things, there will be consequences,
Consequences.
right?
Yeah.
But I don't need to do anything other than like eat to maintain my so what that means is everything else that I do during a daily basis, I'm making a choice to do, meaning I'm getting to do them,
Yeah.
right? And so there is no man who you need to be, it's just the man who you want to be. And
Mm.
so that requires you to sit down and say, who do I want to be? What
Mm.
outcomes do I want to achieve? I used to be of the belief that I wanted 2 or 3 wives. I don't think that I want to do that anymore. But
Uh,
when I was going down that path, I
uh,
had a mentor who I was watching his content, and I would book calls with him. And I would basically, I learned that, like, okay, what does this man have to believe? What skill sets and abilities does this man, if I want to become the man who's capable of having 3 wives and everything is peaceful, there's no chaos, what things do I need to have in place? What skills do I need to have? What beliefs do I need to have? And then let me start cultivating those skills and beliefs.
mhm.
That makes sense.
Right.
So,
Right.
in
Okay.
order to cultivate myself into the man who I
Yeah.
need to be, I
Yeah.
first need to know, who do I want to be? Where
Yeah.
do I want to go? What do I want that to look like? And then I need to find someone to model myself afterwards.
Right. So having a level of self-awareness and then realizing what behaviors you have to emit, what habits you have to
I
create.
would say a level of clarity.
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 Yep.
Okay.
Clarity comes first. And then the self awareness of, okay, here's what I need to know, and here's the skills I need to have, and here's the gap. Let me start filling it.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And that applies a lot in other areas of life as well, whether
Mhm.
it's money or wealth or career or whatever. You have to have
Exactly.
clarity. What do I want?
Yep.
And okay, great, great, great. So why, from your perspective then, by men not behaving the way you're professing, is that the reason why there is a lot of midlife crisis or a lot of divorces, do you think?
Yes, you're asking great questions. So, yes, let's talk about the word midlife crisis. I
Okay.
don't believe in that word anymore, right?
Uh,
I also don't believe in the word pervert. We can talk about it another time.
Another
So,
word,
what is
what?
a
Burberry.
pervert? I don't
Oh,
believe in the word
pervert.
pervert.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't think that's a real thing. I think that is just something, again, we live in a time where masculinity is bad. That's
yeah.
called a sexual drive.
Right,
That's what
right.
it is. It's called a sexual drive.
That's
If
what it is.
if I didn't have a sexual drive towards my wife, she'd be like, "Hey, why don't you want me? Am I not beautiful?" I'm
Uh-huh.
not perverted. I have a sexual drive,
Right.
right? And when it shows up in a way that they don't like it, they call it perversion. No, it's a sexual drive. That's
Hmm.
all it is, right?
Uh,
So, midlife crisis, right? How would you describe a midlife crisis in your own words before I get to it?
I've never had one. I wouldn't know, and I'm 55.
Yeah.
So the reason why I've never had one, when I look at people who are going through a midlife crisis, they just seem to be a bit lost. They not living their life on any kind of purpose. They
Yep.
feel like their life is out of control. They're not in control of that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I've never
Let
been.
me break it down. Let me give you some clarity on what I believe to be a midlife crisis, right?
Sure.
So, what I tell men is that let's start here. Would you say that success financially is different than success like as an entrepreneur? Like you could be incredibly successful as an employee, but learning how to be a successful entrepreneur is a different journey.
Oh, it's a
Correct?
different thing. Different
Okay.
thing.
And
Yeah.
then learning how to be successful as an entrepreneur is totally different than learning how to be successful in relationships with women.
Oh, yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's what most men do. Like that guy who I said who got married 16 years ago.
Mm,
Most men will go out. Let's just say he's lucky enough to get a woman at 21 and
mm,
he's in a monogamous relationship with her. They get married at 25, start having kids at 27. And he got married at 25 and now he's 55 and he's having a midlife crisis, right?
mm.
What I tell people, men and women, and they don't understand this, is that when a man gets in a monogamous relationship with a woman, he stifles his education when it comes to learning how to be successful in relationships with women. And I'm saying women in general, like women plural. He's not learning how to successfully have a relationship with women. He's learning how to have a relationship with that woman. But he
Right.
is not learning women's nature as a
Uh,
whole.
uh-huh.
It's almost like having going and getting one job as a burger flipper, right?
Right. Right.
And you just do that job for 45 years.
Uh-huh.
Like you're going to be great at flipping burgers. You might
Very.
be great at interacting with that one woman,
Yeah.
but women are mirrors, right? And so if you only interact with one, you don't you there's limited things that you can learn about yourself, right?
Mm,
Um, for example, the whole idea of it's human nature and it's so backwards. The more you like a woman, the less she likes you. Okay.
okay.
So let's just say Drake. Drake is a popular artist, everyone knows
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah.
The reason why every woman wants him is because every other woman wants him.
Yeah.
It's social proof. Millions of women want him, so therefore he must be valuable. Therefore, I want him too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just
Makes
how that works.
makes sense.
So let's just say Drake were to pull a woman off stage and talk to her for an hour or 2 hours,
Mm.
she would automatically like him less.
Yeah.
Why? Because who he is in her head, this big built up story, now
Right.
that she's up close, is like it's reality. And
The
reality is
reality,
never as exciting as what you have drummed up in your
the
head.
reality is different. The reality is different,
Yeah, exactly,
isn't
exactly.
it?
So back to the midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Because this man has been with this woman for so long and he's had kids, and essentially what I'm getting at is he's put all these people and these things in front of him in his own desires. He's not sat down in 30 years and asked himself, who do I want to be? What do I want? What car do I want to drive? Where do
Yeah.
I want to live?
Yeah.
He's just been working the job she told him to get,
Right.
right? Going and paying the bills and buying the clothes that she says he should wear.
Yeah.
He's not made a decision for himself in 30 years.
And
And what
that's
a midlife crisis is when a man wakes up and says, you know what? To hell with that. I'm not putting other people's needs in front of my own anymore. I'm going to go get because that 18-year-old version of me or that 25-year-old version of me, he had hopes, dreams, and desires. And I have not lived or fulfilled any of them. Yet
let
I'm
me,
getting up, I'm going to work
yeah.
every day for a woman who's not having sex with me, who does not appreciate me, who does not love or honor me, and
Yeah.
and I'm tired of it. So today I'm going to start living for me. I tell them, don't wait to 55. Just start doing it now. Live for you, put yourself first, be selfish, meaning do what's best for you. I believe selfishness is a virtue, right? If I am
Let me
selfish,
ask you this. Let me
go
ask you
ahead.
this. Great unconventional talk, and people need to hear this. So, what the question I have for you is this: for our women that are listening, thinking, "Oh, there you go, man, this." What is the benefit for the wife, for the woman, by their man being, if you like, masculine or being a man? What is the benefit for her?
Good question. So, um, I'm going to try not to rant. I'm just going to answer the question directly. The benefit to her, right? If I'm being selfish, okay, I believe the best relationships are when a man is selfish and the woman is selfish, right?
Mhm.
Meaning we're doing what's in our best interest, not
Yeah,
what we're most comfortable with, doing the things that make me better because that's self-love. Okay.
yeah,
And so if I'm being selfish, I'm going to be doing things that strengthen me, that strengthen my confidence, my courage, my all of that, right?
Mm.
So the benefit to being with a man who is masculine is that she gets to be with a man who has a confidence of 10 out of 10 instead
Right.
of 2 out of 10,
And that's
right?
attractive for women.
Yes,
For most
yes.
women,
And
that's an
here's the other
attractive
thing. Now,
thing.
there's to me,
Yeah.
there's two types of women.
Mm.
There are the women who have bought into feminism, and then
Mm.
there are the women who have not. There are the boss babes who want to go out here and build a business and work and whatever. And that's what they say they want. And
Yeah.
then there are the women who are like, this is literally what my wife tells me. And my wife makes great money. She makes more than most men. If I were to leave my wife, most of these men could never get her because she would look down on them like, why does he not put me in my place? Why does he
Right.
cater to me? Why does he, whatever, right?
Mhm.
Um, what did I say right before that? Oh shoot, I'm losing my train of thought. It's
No
all good.
problem. So
So, what did I say right before I said my wife? Um, what was your question? Oh, you said what is the benefit to them? Oh, so
what's the
two types.
benefit?
One have been bought into feminism, one hasn't. My wife will come home and she'll say, "Look, I've been making decisions all day. I'm so tired of making decisions.
Mm.
Please tell me what to do. What do you
Right.
want to eat?
Right.
What do you want to see me wearing?"
Mm.
Right. And so when we plan dates, I'm like, hey, babe, wear this dress, wear these shoes. I'm making all the decisions
Oh,
because they suffer from decision fatigue far quicker than we do. They
right.
do not want to actually make decisions all day. That is just something they've been sold. Have you ever been on Instagram or any of these social media accounts where they're like, it'll be a woman and she'll like have like a suit or tie on or whatever, and she'll be frowning and she'll be like, I don't know why I was sold on feminism. I don't want to get up and go to work and be equal with a man because they don't. That's just a bill of goods that they were sold. They want to be told what to do. They want to be. They want. I tell all women, you've got two choices. You can get out here and be a boss babe, work 40 hours a week, 50, 60 hours a week to make this great income, right?
Mm.
Or you can align yourself with a man who you love, trust, honor, and respects, who you believe has your best interest at heart. And he says, hey, this is the direction that we're going. You can
Yeah.
either be a part of it or you cannot. The choice is yours, but I'm going this way.
Yeah, I know in my marriage that certainly works because oftentimes I'll book a vacation. I know when my wife is off, I'm off. I'm saying, hey, look, vacation is booked. This is where we're going.
Mhm.
This is how we're flying. Even
Yep.
Valentine's Day coming up, it's like it's already booked. She
Yeah.
doesn't have to ask me. It's taken care of.
Mhm.
This is where
Mhm.
so for me that works in my marriage. So in hearing what you're saying, okay, this is what I'm doing. And 20
Here's the thing.
years
You've been
later,
married longer than the average person is married. So
right,
you figured it out.
right.
80, 50% of marriages, at least in America, end in divorce.
Say
80% of the time,
yeah.
it's because the woman leaves.
Right, right,
And
right.
she leaves because she feels unsafe. She
Mm,
literally gets to the point where she thinks my life would be better without him.
down him. Right.
So there she lead because I don't feel as though he's leading because they're not leading because they're listening to her and she's leading,
Uh-huh.
right? Let me give you another example. Let's say you're on a plane, right? And the pilot is, I don't know, he's hallucinating or whatever, right? And the plane is going down,
Yeah.
right? Or let's say he's not hallucinating. You're in a cockpit on the plane. The plane is going down. You want to survive,
Yeah.
right? You have two options. Either one, you let the pilot take control, or two, you take control.
Hmm.
Right? Who would you, if you wanted to save your life, who would you rather take control?
If I knew how to land a plane, I'll
No, you
take.
don't know how to land a plane. You
I
don't know how
don't
to land
know.
a plane.
I don't.
Who would you rather take
The
control?
pilot knows what he's doing, so I'm.
Correct. But
Yeah.
if you grab it, you're only grabbing it out of what emotion? Fear, right?
Yeah. That's right.
So that's what I mean. These women are in relationships with men where they're leading, but
Which
they're
is
leading from a place of fear
yeah.
because they'd rather have a man who leads. But
Yeah.
because men are not masculine today and they've been taught happy wife, happy life, it's
Yeah.
cheaper to keep her, all these dumb things,
It's not
they're in a
working.
position where they're leading and they're strong and really they're stressed, right? And so your wife, whether she knows it or you know it, bro, she's blessed. I
Yeah.
do not believe that a woman is capable of being the best version of herself without the leadership of a man.
But here's
And
a
I
good thing.
believe a man is capable of being the best version of himself without learning how to lead a woman.
Yeah, and vice versa. My wife does some amazing things. I mean, you're talking from a place of where you study this. I've never studied this. I
Hmm.
just lived it. And my
Yep.
wife does amazing things that make me happy. That is like,
Hmm.
so which is great. I make myself happy. But together we coexist and things are beautiful. And you, at the beginning of the call, you said, hey, listen, you're going to want to have a session two. And I
Yeah.
think we may have to because we're coming running out of time.
Hey, yeah, let's do it. Let's do
It
it.
seems like we just got going, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Listen,
yeah, yeah.
listen, for those who want to reach out to you, find you, talk to you, learn from you, mentor from you, listen, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah. So the easiest way to get in touch with me is going to be on Instagram at so that's T is in Tom, H is in Henry, E is in Eric, RPA guy. So R is in Robert, I'm spitballing this. P is in Paul, A
Uh,
is in Aaron, guy. So G is in garage, U is in unicorn, Y is in young. Okay. Instagram at the RPA guy. That is going to be the easiest way to reach me. You can also find me on I'm sorry, on YouTube at the same thing, at the RPA guy. You can literally put in the search bar at the RPA guy on YouTube. You'll find me. And I also have a podcast that I do called King's Corner, where I talk about all these same things. And these are just all things that I've learned through mistakes. Like I got into RPA, I got a high income. So now I'm like, I'm gonna, the 19-year-old in me is like, hey, I'm gonna start living all the things I've always wanted to live. I'm gonna start the women, the cars, and then I started realizing I'm not very good with women. And so that's just I've lived this journey over the last 2 to 3 years, essentially. And that's where it's all coming from.
you've learned a lot. Listen, thank you for
Yeah.
sharing all your knowledge. And I'm looking forward to do round two with you, and we can get even deeper on this.
Yeah.
Those who are listening, today was a very different show, business and wealth show. But you have to understand that if you are in a relationship, you're married, and your relationship doesn't work out, your marriage doesn't work out, at some point she leaves or you split, that's very expensive. That's very
Hmm.
expensive for your wealth. Don't let that happen. That's why we wanted to speak to AD, the RPA guy, to talk about the reality of, what's going on, what are you seeing, what works, what doesn't work, so you can keep your wealth, grow your money, grow together, and make amazing, amazing memories together. Remember to like, share, follow, and also share this link with your friends, your family, your friends, your men, your women, your girlfriends. Let's let them know what the conversation that's been having here. Give some emojis as well. Listen, AD, thank you so much for adding a different flavor to what we do here. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. Until we speak again, remember, build your business for wealth, not just for income. Build it for wealth, not just for income. Much love. God bless. Until next time. Bye for now.